Welcome back to Sandfire Overland. In this video I will share with you my amazing trip through the Pilbara region in Western Australia. I will take you to some of the most spectacular places Western Australia has to offer. From the amazing Karijini National Park to Mount Augustus, the Kennedy Ranges and Dirk Hartog Island, you will see wonderful places, many of which you might have never heard about before. The first step of the journey is here in Perth. I arrived last night after a very long flight from Germany, but this morning I already had a very refreshing and energizing walk on the beach here in Scarborough, enjoying the Indian Ocean. And once I've picked up the car from the storage, I will bring it to Toyota, where I've already booked an appointment for a very thorough checkup, before I then will pack everything into the car and head off north tomorrow morning. So I've arrived at the storage, the car is there nicely wrapped, and I will now unpack it and then get onto the road. Starting at Scarborough Beach, my aim was to get to Newman as quickly as possible. It was a 1200 kilometer drive, mostly along the Great Northern Highway. I expected the drive to be quite boring, but was surprised how interesting the drive along the Great Northern Highway actually was. It was extremely impressive to see the huge road trains on the Great Northern Highway, some of them pulling up to 4 trailers behind them. Little did I know that one of these road trains will cause me some serious headache. I'm here on the Great Northern Highway, about 400 kilometers south of Newman, and I have quite some issues with my windscreen. I had a number of stone chips which I received last night, and now the cracks are increasing, and that is of course a worry, as the whole windscreen might collapse, and I still have so many 100 kilometers to go. This morning I tried to fix it in a garage in Mount Magnet, but they had sold all the patches to a mining company because they also have a lot of issues with stone chips. So I couldn't get it fixed there, and then I was in a hardware store to get some tape, and friendly ladies there connected me with a guy in Newman who is repairing windscreens. But at that time I only had 3, and I thought it's fixable. And now we have some big cracks here in the windscreen as well. So I'm afraid I need to replace the whole windscreen, and I need to go to Toyota in Newman. I've progressed quite nicely. I'm now 299 kilometers south of Newman. Time for a little lunch break. In the meantime, I had a chance to talk to Toyota in Newman regarding the replacement of my windscreen, because it has become obvious that I need a new one. And Toyota said early next week, which would mean I would lose 4 days out of my travel. That was of course not acceptable. So I asked them what we could do, and they gave me the number of a guy who does all their windscreen work for them. And as it turned out, it was the guy I spoke to in the morning in the hardware store in Mount Magnet, where this very friendly lady advised me that he is a good guy to go to. So I called him as well again and asked him if he could replace the window, and he said yes, of course, I have it in stock for the Troopy. And then I asked him when he could do it, and he said, well, I could do it today if you wish. And I said, wow, that's amazing. And then I said, okay, but how long will it take? Yeah, about 2 hours, and we have you back on the road. And when I then asked if I could also come a little bit later because I might not be there by 5 o'clock, he said, and that was really amazing, Michael, whenever you arrive, we will be at your service and we will have you back on the road tonight. I think this is unbelievable. I will now drive there and get my window fixed. My travels went quite a bit faster than expected, and I arrived at Headland Mobile Windscreens just before 5 p.m, where Chris and his team already expected me. They had everything prepared and my windscreen was changed within no time. The team there was just great, and next morning I started very, very early to get to Kalgans Pool. But before going off-road, I stopped at the Capricorn Roadhouse to fill up my diesel tanks. Kalgans Pool is close to Newman, and there is a normal way which is a bit longer, but I took a shortcut about 24 kilometers after you leave the Great Northern Highway. There is a very unassuming little entrance into this track. The entrance, however, is only suitable for four-wheel drives. It's about a 1.50 meter kind of very steep step up with some washouts in it. So I don't think you can do it with a two-wheel drive, and you need a decent clearing. Now I'm on a relatively good graded road, but at a certain point it should turn into quite an interesting track. So we have reached now the first water crossing. It is a very long one. I think it will be a few hundred meters long. It looks beautiful, and I will walk it first to see how deep the water is. I think it will be okay, but it's always better to double check. So I will walk it to check out what is the surface. Is it muddy and soft, or is it rocky? Are there any obstacles in the river, like big rocks or tree trunks? And then once I have checked this out, then I will be ready to cross this water. Still not getting deeper than knee deep. Here's a bit different section coming. For those of you who are not familiar with Australia and are afraid of crocodiles, I'm also afraid of crocodiles, but for sure in this area here in the Pilbara there are no crocodiles, so no danger at all. So I'm very comfortable walking here, and it's beautiful. I really like it. It's really tranquil. I'm fully on my own here, no other person around, no noise except for the beautiful sound of nature, so very enjoyable. On the way here to Kalgans Pool, we lost our number plate in one of the waters, specifically the third one was quite deep and heavy, and I had to really push through, and the number plate didn't survive it. But anyway, I didn't expect it to last very long, as it is from plastic, and we already have made metal ones, which I carry with me, and once I get back to the normal road I will fix the metal ones, and then we're all good again. After spending the night at Kalgans Pool, I continued my travel the next morning. I decided not to return on the same route I came the day before, but to take a detour through the Hamersley Ranges. The Hamersley Ranges are a beautiful mountainous area that is not that well known and not intensively traveled. It was a wonderful drive through the Hamersley Ranges, but at the end of the trip I was again confronted with the economic reality of the Pilbara region. I saw one of the iron ore freight trains, which are said to be the longest trains in the world. The longest one is 7.3 kilometers long, is powered by 8 locomotives and holds more than 680 iron ore cars. These trains transport the iron ore from the mines here around Newman to Port Hedland, from where they are being shipped to destinations all over the world. I think a lot is going to China, but also then to other places. This is a huge economic factor in the Pilbara area. Some of the biggest iron ore deposits in the world are placed here. They need to fly in a lot of contractors, laborers, employees to work here on a fly-in, fly-out basis, where they do certain shifts and then fly back home for a while and then return. Anyway, this also constitutes the end of the very, very exciting, I would say epic Kalgans Pool trip I did over the last 2 days. Really fantastic drive, very varied experiences. Four-wheel driving was nice, not too difficult, but nice and enjoyable. Some challenges in between which make it fun, and the weather turned out to be quite nice. Last night I was a bit worried because it started to really be very windy and a little bit of rain, but today the overcast is gone and I'm now enjoying beautiful sun here. The next step is now that I find a nice place for a rest, have some lunch, and then I continue to Mount Meharry, which is about 100 kilometers north of Newman, I think. And I am aiming to still drive up that mountain today. It is the highest mountain in WA, but of course for those people living in Switzerland or Austria or other places or Argentina, the mountain is very, very low. It's I think 1800 meters or something like this. So not very spectacular from that perspective, but it offers a fantastic view over the landscape, and that's what I want to see and enjoy. But before I hit the tar road again, I have to pump some air into my tires. About 130 kilometers north of Newman, there is a turnoff into a dirt road, which is called the Pack Saddle Road. That is the road that will take you to Mount Meharry. The trek to Mount Meharry initially is quite an easy drive. Initially it's a well-graded dirt road, and then it turns into an easy off-road trek. However, when you get closer to Mount Meharry, you see that there is a very steep section to tackle to get to the top of the mountain. It is for sure a serious off-road trek. Very steep, a lot of loose rocks, big step-ups as well. So I need to be very concentrated. I made it! I'm on top of Mount Meharry, 1,248 meters above sea level, which is of course not a lot. But because the landscape around is relatively flat with some mountains in the background, the view from here is actually insane. It's absolutely stunning. It's marvelous. It's unbelievable. I love it, and I will spend the night here. I'm completely on my own. Nobody's here, and nobody will come, I'm sure, that late. So I will have this place for myself and set up camp here. I'm not allowed to make a fire because it's part of a national park, and therefore no fires allowed. And but I will enjoy the fantastic views and reflect on the drive today, which was in the end really challenging. It got my adrenaline flowing. It was very steep, a lot of step ups, and I initially choose a second gear low, but then at one step up, my engine died down. So I reversed back a little bit, which was tricky on a steep hill, and then tried it again with first gear low, and that actually then made it quite easily. And then I left it like that, because there were some more deep wombat holes and step ups. So it is challenging. I only can recommend it for people who have some experience in four-wheel driving and have done some serious off-road tracks. It is not easy, and specifically I think it's about confidence. The thing is that once you are in this track, which is I think 3 kilometers, once you're in this track, you cannot stop and you cannot go back. You have to pull through. There's maybe one or two situations where you can stop for a while in the steep sections, but then you have no possibility to turn and to drive down again, unless you go backwards, which is crazy. So if you ever do this track, make sure you walk it first. You have a look and really walk it to the end to make sure you're confident in driving it. Once you're in, you are committed to it. But now it's time for a beer. It's time to enjoy the beautiful sunset and set up my camp. Unfortunately, the drive was a little bit too heavy for my fridge. The raspberry jam opened and spread all over the fridge. So some people like camembert with jam. Here you have it already pre-mixed. Not very nice, so I need to clean this up now, otherwise it will stick like hell. Not so nice, but these kind of things happen when you do serious off-road driving. Good morning, everybody. I spent the night here on Mount Meharry. It was a very cold night, I must say, very windy. Even this morning it was extremely windy. Now at something like 8 o'clock, 8:30, the wind is easing down a bit with the sun rising more and more. But during the night it was very heavy wind. But it was great to spend the night here, seeing the sunset, and then this morning experiencing a beautiful sunrise, amazing vistas across the plains here, really beautiful. The last thing I want to do now, before I drive all the way back, is to sign into the visitor book, which is in here. There is a visitor book here, and there is a log, and if you look at it, it's already quite a worn book. It is started in 2020. Andrew Ryan is the first one here, and until today, 2025, it's not even full. So it shows that not many people drive up here and or walk up here. Actually, yesterday I met a lady who walked up here. It was quite amazing in the sun, going all the way up here. But anyway, a great little thing to read through. So I will sign myself in, and then make some notes on it, and then I continue my journey driving the Mount Meharry downhill today. After I left Mount Meharry, it was a short drive on a well-maintained road to get to the Karijini National Park. Just before entering the park, I found a beautiful wild camping spot and decided to stay there rather than going to a campground within the park. The advantage of being outside the park was definitely that I could have a campfire at night. The Karijini National Park has a very interesting visitor center. You can learn there that in 1899 the Pilbara region had about 700,000 sheep. This was a massive overstocking for this arid area. Subsequently, sheep farming became economically unviable in many parts of the region. Good morning. It's a very sunny, bright, early morning here at the Hancock Gorge. Last night I stayed at the Karijini Eco Retreat. I had a camp spot there and enjoyed a nice dinner at the restaurant, which was good for a change after a week of camping, to have a nice dinner being served and not cooking myself. So this morning I got up early to be in time at the Hancock Gorge before too many people arrived. When I arrived at the car park, it was nearly empty. There were only 2 other cars apart from mine. So that's, I think, a good situation to be in, walking down Hancock Gorge, having a look there and taking some nice pictures, and then continue my journey further on. Wow, this was another really nice hike into a gorge. Hancock Gorge is really beautiful. I didn't make it to the complete end, but I made most of it. It was really beautiful. Not many people around here at this time of the day. And now I'm on my way back. The final part will be the stairs behind me, which I have to climb up, and then I'll be back at the surface and continue my journey for today. Driving out of the park, camping somewhere at the western side of the park, and then tomorrow morning very early I want to go to the Hamersley Gorge and explore that one before then continuing more south. But I also will need to stop in Tom Price to get some food, get some fuel, and stock up. After spending more than a week in this beautiful but always dry and brownish yellowish landscape, arriving in Tom Price was like arriving at an oasis in the desert. It's a small town, but it has everything you need as a traveler. It has a petrol station, you can get clean water. There are a number of small stores, there's a large supermarket, there's a good hardware store, and in general it's a pleasant place to spend a few hours before continuing the journey. As I had planned to visit the Hamersley Gorge very early the next morning, I tried to find a camp spot as close as possible to the gorge. For that I had to drive for quite a while on a dusty dirt road. But it was worth it. I camped near the Hamersley Gorge, but outside the national park, and when the sun set down, I enjoyed a beautiful view of the surrounding mountains and the ancient rock formations. Wow, this is nice. It's a very tranquil morning here at Hamersley Gorge. I got up very early, 6 o'clock, packed my stuff very quickly and then drove here. I camped not far away, and there's absolutely nobody else in this entire gorge. There was nothing in the car park. Anyway, it's a small car park, so I think this gorge is not as popular as the other ones because it is a bit out of the way. And of course, it's not as big and spectacular as the other ones. But anyway, it's a very nice place. Now, early in the morning. I am enjoying the beautiful wave rock structures, the nice sound of the waterfall in the background, and the overall tranquility of this place. It's really peaceful. I like it here. And I will stay a bit longer, enjoy it, soak it in, and when the people come, then I will leave and continue my journey. The day today will be exciting, I hope. I will drive a bit south from here via Tom Price and then take a route into the Karijini National Park, but a route that is not really well known, and I will search for a place called Magic Pool. You don't find Magic Pool on any map, at least not on any map I looked at. It's also not on Garmin, it's not on Google. But by watching some other videos and by looking at some satellite maps, I was able to identify the place. It has a different name, the official name is different. I will not tell you because you need to find out yourself if you want to go there. But it is for sure special, and it is for sure a four-wheel drive only trek to Magic Pool, and therefore I'm really looking forward to finding this special place today. found this really pleasant resting spot on a riverbank at the road between Tom Price and Parabudu. It is a really romantic little place, and I will have some lunch here before I enter the dirt road, which brings me into the region where I find a magic pool. The entry into the dirt road is not far away from here, so it's an ideal spot to stop. I must say I really like our setup here, like now where I'm stopping for lunch and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. So when we arrive somewhere, we just stop, we open the back doors, then we have the upright fridge here, the Bushman upright fridge. We open it up, take what we need for lunch from the fridge, just take it to the side. We have the Maxtrax table, which we can fold down within half a minute. We can open this box, and then we have everything in here we need for lunch, including a gas cooker if you want to do something hot. And then we have lunch here, pack everything away, and within a few minutes we are gone. I really like this setup. It's very practical, it's very fast and convenient, so a really nice way of organizing ourselves. It was an interesting off-road trek getting to Magic Pool. At quite some locations, the recent unseasonal rains had washed away parts of the trek, and it was a bit tricky to get through, or sometimes you had to find a way around the obstacles. Overall, the trek is not too complicated. I would say on a scale between 1 and 5, and 5 being the most difficult one, I would give it a 3. The trek needs concentration as the situation changes quite regularly, but I would say that even somebody who has not a lot of experience will not get into serious trouble driving this trek. As soon as I saw the trees at the horizon, it was clear to me that Magic Pool must be there, because these kind of trees indicate in this dry area that there must be water. Visiting Magic Pool has been on my bucket list for quite a while. Arriving there after an interesting off-road drive, I must say that the location is really magic. As so often on this trip, I was completely on my own. I set up my camp on the sandbank and enjoyed the beautiful landscape when the sun was setting down and the birds were flying over the water. What a privilege it is to be able to travel to these kind of locations. This morning I left Magic Pool relatively early. 7:30 I was on the trek, went to Parabudu to fuel up and get a coffee, and then continued my journey. I'm now just entering the Ashburton Downs Road, which is an unsealed road shortly after Parabudu, taking me to Mount Augustus. It's 300 something kilometers, and since it's unsealed it will take probably 5-6 hours. I hope the landscape will be a bit interesting so that I can enjoy the long ride to Mount Augustus. So here I am at the campsite at Mount Augustus. It was a long drive from Magic Pool. It took me altogether more than 8 hours, and I think I had maybe a maximum 1 hour break in between. Quite a journey. I didn't do any filming after Parabudu because the landscape was dead boring. Originally, I planned to stay overnight somewhere because when I looked at the maps when preparing for the trip, I thought that the landscape might be quite interesting and it would be worthwhile spending a night somewhere there in the mountains. But I don't know what I saw there, but when I drove through it, it was absolutely boring. So no need and to stop there. Actually, it wouldn't make sense to stop there, and therefore I decided to drive through to Mount Augustus here at the bottom of the mountain. Spend 2 nights here now instead, clean myself up, clean the car up a little bit, do some work, also do a little bit of work on the car before I then continue the journey to the Kennedy Ranges. But first of all, tomorrow I will explore a bit Mount Augustus and see what that has to offer. The campsite here is quite nice. It has a little bit of grass, has some trees and good facilities. Everything is very clean, and people can also hire cabins here if they want. There's a little shop and also a little bar where you can not only get drinks but also something to eat, which I think we'll do tonight there. So overall, quite a nice place to stay for 1 or 2 nights while exploring the region here. The interesting thing is about Mount Augustus, it's significantly bigger than Uluru, formerly known as Ayers Rock, but it is of course much less known and less popular. So there's much less tourism around here. And I think apart from the location, it also has to do with the shape and the look. If you have been to Uluru or if you remember the pictures of Uluru, it is quite significantly standing out of the landscape. Here with Mount Augustus, it's not as spectacular. So I think there is a reason why Uluru is more popular, even though it is much smaller. After the beautiful evening at Mount Augustus, I hit the road very early the next morning. It was again a very long day on a dirt road through cattle country. So here I am at the entry into the Kennedy Ranges. The ride from Mount Augustus was quite smooth, and I had a little coffee and something to eat at the local petrol station here in Gascoyne Junction. Fueled up, and now I'm ready to enter the Kennedy Ranges. There's a big warning sign here, making sure that nobody enters this area unprepared, because it's a serious outback. And I checked all the boxes basically, and I will now start my trip. But before I do that, of course, I will air down my tires and then continue. So 15 kilometers into the trek, I'm here in the middle of the Gascoyne River. Quite honestly, I was a little bit concerned that there would be too much water and too soft ground, as I'm traveling on my own and have nobody to pull me out if I get stuck. But look at this, there's no water at all. The mighty Gascoyne River is completely dry. And it's, I think, not unusual at this time of the year, in mid-September, the end of the dry season. But this river can be quite big. And if you look at it from the top, you see how wide it is and can be. It was around 4 o'clock when I arrived at Cutter's Bay, a designated camping area in the Kennedy Ranges. No facilities there, but a nice spot under big trees to spend the night. However, despite the fact that my weather app didn't indicate any rain for the next 2 days, it started to rain just a few minutes after I arrived at Cutter's Bay. So I had to make a decision. Do I stay here and risk that I will be stuck in the Kennedy Ranges for 2 or 3 days because the environment gets extremely difficult to drive once it is wet, or do I turn around? It was a difficult decision and I had to make a quick call as I wanted to get out before it's dark if I have to get out. And therefore I decided to turn around and drive back to Gascoyne Junction to spend the night there on a campground and see how the weather develops over the next few days. At the end of the day, it didn't rain that much. I only experienced a little drizzle. However, the sky over the Kennedy Ranges always looked like it could change into a significant storm very quickly. And therefore, I spent 1 day in the campground in Gascoyne Junction and the next day made my way to the coast. Because I had a barge booked to get to Dirk Hartog Island and I didn't want to risk losing that booking. One of the many natural wonders of the Shark Bay area is Shell Beach. It is a beach that is not made from sand, but it is actually made from billions of little shells. These shells are very special to the area and grow in the highly salty lagoon. Little Lagoon and Shell Beach were great, but then it was time to find the trek to Steep Point as I had to catch the ferry the next morning. And I still had 4 or 5 hours of drive in front of me. After I left the barge on Dirk Hartog Island, my first stop was at Surf Point. Initially it was not that interesting, but when I looked closer, I saw literally hundreds and hundreds of sharks in the water. They are small sharks, maybe a meter or meter 20 long, but it was really impressive to see these many sharks in one location. And although the sharks are probably not very dangerous, I decided that it's probably better not to go for a swim here. Before Dirk Hartog Island became a national park, it used to be a sheep farm. Today there are no sheep anymore on the island, and the former homestead has been converted into a high-end accommodation and a campground directly on the beach. I spent my first night on the island on this campground, and the next morning I started my journey to the northern part of the island. During my drive to the north, I passed the relics of the former sheep station. Dirk Hartog Island has been in private ownership for a very long time, and it has been a sheep farm also for many decades. The problem was that the sheep have overgrazed the island and have destroyed the ecosystems. So sheep farming was stopped at one point, and a very ambitious natural recovery program was started. It has been named Return to 1616. The idea behind this program is to bring the island back to the status it had at the time the first Europeans arrived on the island in 1616. It is a very ambitious program, but first important steps have been made, but it's still a long way to go. Here I am now at the most northern point of Dirk Hartog Island. This is actually the point where Dirk Hartog landed in 1616 and left a plaque here on the cliff. And therefore, this display here says this is the site of the earliest confirmed European presence in Australia, whatever that exactly means. Originally, he wanted to travel from southern Africa to what is now known as Indonesia. But he got lost on the way and ended up on this island. So he left his plaque to document that he was there, set sails again and sailed finally to his original destination in Batavia. Over the next 200 years, several people came here to visit it. More people left a plaque, but not much happened on this island. Only in the early 20th century, this lighthouse was built. This was at the time a part of a greater effort to make navigation around the coastal lines of Western Australia more safe. The drive up here took me about 3.5 hours in total, including some filming and photographing. It was partly a boring drive through bushland, very mundane driving on sandy tracks that were quite rugged but not exciting to drive. And then some exciting parts where it went through the sand dunes and some more difficult sections. Nothing really difficult, but something where you need to concentrate, and then my energy level came back and I enjoyed it quite a lot. It's very windy up here, as you might see, and I need to find a place to put up my camp tonight. I have a booking for a camp on the west coast, but I was there already and it's extremely windy, so I might head a little bit more to the east coast of the island to see if I can find a more sheltered spot there. It's still early, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3:30, and therefore I have a little bit of time to find the right spot. The spot I finally decided to spend the night was a beautiful one on top of a dune overlooking the Indian Ocean. In the far distance I could see whales passing by, but unfortunately it was still extremely windy. Today I want to try something which I haven't tested before, and that's dry fruit. I bought this here from Backcountry Cuisine in Perth, beef stroganoff. Apparently This is a complete meal. You just add 125 milliliters of boiling water to it, let it wait for 10 minutes, and then you can eat it. And I thought I'd try it because today, first of all, it's a really windy day and difficult to cook here anyway. And secondly, we want to do the canning stock route either next year or the year thereafter. And then it would also be a good option to have, at least for a few days, this kind of food with us, as we need to carry food for about 3 weeks or a bit more actually to be on the safe side. And then it would be nice to have some really lightweight and small packaged food with us. So I will have a go at it today. That's it. Not bad. Not bad at all. Maybe I could have waited for a few more minutes to make it a bit softer. But actually, I think it's quite a good solution for longer trips from time to time if you don't want to cook. And certainly that's something which appeals to me, that after a long day of driving, when we have been in the car for 8-10 hours or something like this, the last thing we want to do is cook a big meal. And sometimes so this could be a nice help. It's not cheap, this stuff, so you wouldn't do it for every day. And but I think that from time to time it's fine. I'm now here back at the Overland Roadhouse. It was a really nice trip to Dirk Hartog Island. I saw a lot of sharks in the water. I saw whales far out in the water. I saw a beautiful coastline, and I learned quite a bit about the island. Here at the Overland Roadhouse, I refueled completely 5 days ago, and then went onto the journey. Overall, I drove 600 kilometers, quite precisely, from here to the island, on the island and back. And on this 600 kilometers, I used 120 liters of fuel. You have to keep in mind that there is no petrol station between here and Dirk Hartog Island, and also on the island there's no diesel or fuel or petrol available. So you have to bring everything yourself and be prepared to cover quite a distance. To give you a reference, with the 120 liters I used, so it was 20 liters per 100 kilometers. On a normal tar road, if I go constantly 110 on a long distance, I use usually 15 liters diesel per 100 kilometers. So it's quite a bit more, and I already tried to save fuel when I was on the island because I was unsure about how long it will last. So depending on your setup, you might want to bring 1 or 2 jerry cans just to be on the safe side. I must say that Western Australia once again has absolutely blown my mind. After 9 hours of driving from the campground at Dirk Hartog Island, I arrived here at Lucky Bay. And I am now in the most amazing camp spot one can imagine, in the middle of the dunes, close to the ocean, and completely on my own. Nobody is close to me. There are, of course, other people camping here in the dunes, but it's very private. It's very spread out. It's an insane spot. It is managed by, I think, the Department of Biodiversity. So it's a protected area, but still you are allowed to camp here in the dunes as long as you have a chemical toilet with you. So I will enjoy this night here. It will be my last camping night on this trip. From tomorrow onwards, I will have 2 more nights staying in hotels. And then on Tuesday, my flight back to Germany will start. And now I will sit down, enjoy the sun and have a beer. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please do not forget to like and subscribe. See you soon back on this channel.